This is Past Force.
Hi. He's at it again. You know who I mean, yeah. The so-called fucking Prime Minister and his abusive relationship with history. A little article in this issue of Private Eye concerning his relationship with history and something he mentioned at PMQs last year. Now, allegedly, he is writing a book on Shakespeare. The chances are very high that this is going to be like his last history book on Winston Churchill. It will be full of omissions, factual errors, and complete and utter bullshit. No doubt he's going to claim that the history plays are some celebration of our glorious national past. No, they're not. Anyone who's read the history plays can tell you that, Jesus Christ, they're not. There's no glory in there whatsoever. Not even, as people claim, in Henry V. Well, you can argue that there is, but then you've got the counterbalance in Henry VI, Part 1, so... But this article, what it says is that during a digression at PMQs in February of 2020, when he was allegedly writing this book, during the COVID crisis, when COVID was first coming in, yeah, he went on a digression at PMQs in which he made several factual errors about Shakespeare. He claimed that A Midsummer Night's Dream was particularly performed for Elizabeth I. It wasn't. He also claimed that Falstaff dies in Henry IV, Part 2. No, he doesn't. He dies off stage in Henry V. And then he went on to suggest that Elizabeth I begged Shakespeare to write another Falstaff play, which is apocryphal. The only evidence for that comes 100 years after Shakespeare died, and even then, if Elizabeth I did, it's usually presented as a command, not begging, or as this article puts it, sounding like a panting Poldark fan. So what are we going to do about this? Clearly, the so-called Prime Minister has a problematic, abusive relationship with history. He makes stuff up, he lies, he doesn't know his history. Clearly, he uses the past to support his own nationalist agenda in the same way that the Nazis did. Can we as historians allow this kind of behaviour to continue? It's the same sort of behaviour you see from pseudo-historians, from the likes of David Icke, from the likes of the Holocaust deniers. They are laughed out of the building when they speak about history, because we know they're talking bullshit. So we should do the same to the Prime Minister. When he mentions history, we should stick two fingers up to him and say, fuck off, mate. You're an absolute blinking liar. You're not a historian. Bugger off. Because he is like David Icke and the Holocaust deniers. He is like the Nazis. They come out with the same bullshit, the same bollocks. So, how do you solve a problem like the Prime Minister when it comes to history? You point out his errors, you laugh at him, and you kick him out the building.
History! It's a thing of the past!
It's a thing of the past.